What's going on? What's going on? Another late night discussion. It is today is 10/23/24. So another, I guess if you're into numerology, another kind of special day. It's 10, okay, and then it's 23 and then also 24, so the significance is the 23 and of course the 24. That is pretty much what's significant about that. I'm going to talk today about the discussion, or I guess it was kind of a debate with Anton Daniels, and I believe his name is Yada, brother Yada, I believe. uh so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is uh, a long time ago, like well before there was a such thing called the manosphere. There were, kind of people that were, if they were talking or they were, going doing videos, they would probably be considered in that same segment or space. They would be considered part of the manosphere in some form or fashion. People would lump them in. And one of those guys was a guy by the name of Thug Titian. And if you knew anything about Thug Titian was basically guy out of the UK, and he coined a term that not too many people use. I probably use it more than anybody, and that term is called a pussy beggar. Okay, pussy beggar. Basically, a pussy beggar is basically a simp. He, begging. A lot of guys are, if you gotta, especially now, you know, he was talking about this like 2008, 2007 ish, to 2009. He was calling people that were, you know, basically women could do no wrong. They wanted to, please all women. Uh, he called them pussy beggars. And 2024, I made a hard stance on simps. I've been coming at simps neck. People been running. They running with their head, trying to keep their head attached because I'm on them simps so hard. Pause. I'm pretty much been aggressive towards simps. You know, um, you know, pause again on that. Where's Mr. Pause at? This guy's I think he's a lecturer or professor. I think at Stanford or something like that. One of those Ivy League schools.
Pause.
And the reason why he said pause is he was talking about when you're communicating with people. Primarily, he's a business teacher. He said you should pause when you're talking with your client, when you're trying to express something. You should, sometimes even myself, I have to learn to calm down, gather my thoughts, take pauses, then give my delivery. And in avoidance, the pauses and the avoidance to a lot of times people say, and I have been guilty of this, and I've been trying to work on this. You say and yeah, you know what I'm saying, and those are words because basically you don't really have much else to say, just in general, just to put that in short. When you just pause, You can gather your thoughts and speak more clearly. Okay. Communication is very, very important. Communication can land you in certain rooms and land you certain contracts and deals and just, overall opportunities. Communication is very, very important. It could, give you some type of, I just said it, it could give you opportunities with the opposite sex. Communication is very, very important, and also nonverbal communication. But yeah, that's the pause guy or whatever. That's his story, or who he is. But yeah, pussy beggars are very much simps that, in order to please a woman, because they want the pussy so bad, they want her so bad, they willing to do anything possible. A lot of pussy beggars, these are the guys that, say, uh, don't talk about women, don't say anything, don't critique women. That's the connotation of a pussy beggar, pretty much. That's some here's the thing, right? And I'm not on my laptop or anything like that, so I'm not gonna necessarily react to the video. I just want to give my commentary, but I'll say this: as far as pussy beggars are concerned, kind of Anton Daniel asked Yada, "How many women have you been with before you met your wife?" And he said, I think he said like 15 or something like that. And it kind of, I was thinking the same thing, because one of the reasons why men become, I've talked about this in my sex series. I talked about why men make guard, why they, some guys, they'll meet a woman, and typically guys are not trying to get in a relationship right away. That's the typical motive, is like guys are typically not trying to get in a relationship, and they're not really trying to commit. That, overall, women, they know most men, higher desirable men, I have to point that, I have to make that emphasis. Highly desirable men, typically women complain about their lack of commitment, their lack of even wanting to propose to them for marriage, and you know be in a relationship with them, so on and so forth. Women constantly, over the years of my life, women complain about that. And those are typically highly desirable men that have options, that have many, many options. And know as well, they've been with a lot of women. Okay. Now, what happens typically with simps, or we're going to say pussy beggars, and, I don't know if Doug Titian is still around. I don't know. He was one of those guys that didn't necessarily show his face or anything like that. He was anonymous. But the thing is this: pussy beggars are still in existence, and they're still doing what they do. And what happens is, one of the reasons why men become simps and pussy beggars, aka pussy beggars, is because they don't really have access. They never really had access to a lot of women. One, two, some of the men, they are not necessarily that desirable. I put my nice little mug on this you know pretty much avatar or whatever. This is my beautiful mug right here. I was headed to the I think I was headed to the Dominican Republic. Actually, I think this was when I was headed to Minnesota. Okay. And I just was just looking good, looking delicious. This profile pic, I get a lot of pics, a lot of, well, I don't necessarily get, well, it's a mix. It's a mixed bag. I've talked to a lot of women or dating online, but I don't know. It's dating online is really kind of trash. But the thing is this: the whole 15 women thing. I think I've already passed 15 women when I was like before I got to my late 20s. I was past 15 women. I probably was past 15 women before I got 25. I mean that I mean I'm not necessarily bragging or you know you know saying anything, but it's like a lot of what when you get with quite a bit of women and different types of women, you get a level of confidence and you also get a level of, you know, let's say unthirstiness. You're not thirsty for chicks because you've gotten chicks. You know you can get chicks. So where it's very minimal and no thirstiness involved in that scenario. Now, have I had droughts throughout the years of my life, as an adult, sex driven, post pubescent, male? Yes, definitely. Have I had periods where I was thirsty? Yeah. But as soon as you get, it's kind of like a resurrection plant. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically look it up. A resurrection plant is actually like a plant that looks dead, right? Let's just say it's like a incel plant. As soon as you give that plant some water, it revives itself. It starts looking healthy again. Sometimes that's kind of how it is. Like, you get back in the field or you get some opportunities and you revive. You're like, oh yeah, I got it, and then it depends. But one of the reasons that pussy beggars, going back to how some men court, they try to lock the chick in right away. Like most times, men typically, like I say, typically men kind of try to avoid relationships. They're not trying to commit within the first week. Now, I will admit, it depends on the woman. If you get some drop dead gorgeous woman that, let's just say she's a 9, 10, she got a body like Beyonce, of course, a man is going to, try to, pursue that woman and pretty much get in a relationship and all of that. But what I'm saying is, it's certain men that they will do that with just any woman, damn near a random woman, a mid, low mid, below mid woman, like just, a woman that probably even doesn't even deserve to be in a relationship because she has a bad attitude, she has previous ex-boyfriends and all kind of different stuff. And then because it could backfire. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was listening very earlier, I was listening to Keep It 100, and he mentioned about the other dude. The other dude is the dude that, he got babies out there, and he's got babies by women that actually are in a relationship with another guy that claims he is the child's father. He believes that he is the child's father of a child that is not even his. In that happens. That kind of happens with simps. Simps have problems like that. Typically, have problems like that where simps, because they simp so hard, they get themselves in situations where the woman is not really that interested in them. They provide some type of comfort, some type of you know, financial support, and basically provide her needs, keep her needs met, keep the woman's needs met. So they want to keep that man around at all costs. Yet they'll go out and kind of do what they want to do on the side or at work, or come up with some type of plan or whatever. Say that they're at work and they're not really at work, and then next thing you know, they're over the other guy's house, and they're getting basically piped down balls deep, and the guy doesn't have anything over as far as protection, and he's basically guzzling, basically he's knee deep stroking this woman, and emptying out his load in this woman, and she's going back home to the other guy that's basically either her husband or her long-term boyfriend, live-in boyfriend, that's a simp, and just so happy to be with this woman, to have what appears to be it, in-house coochie, a in-house woman, and next thing you know, she's pregnant. He doesn't know none the wiser. He believed that's his kid. He thinks that uh he pretty much fathered that child once she delivers the baby, and that baby is not his at all. And I'm very into animals. I have the Animal Hierarchy series. Birds, actually, it's a particular bird that actually does that. Some birds, I think some birds, that's what they do. In case you didn't know, typically birds mate for life, but some birds actually cheat. They'll go fly to another nest of another male, and they'll actually mate with that male, and then go back to their nest, and basically their mate will raise those chicks, and again, no, none the wiser. I mean, we're quote unquote smarter beings. All you have to do is take a DNA test. I think let me see. Let me check my website. I think I still sell DNA tests on my website, brogeniuses.com. I think I still got them there. I'm pretty sure I do. Let me see. Let me check my own website out and see what's going on. See if I still have those DNA kits. Let me see here. Let me check. Let me check this out. See if I still have. I believe I still have those DNA kits on the old website here. I'm pretty sure I do. Let's see here. Uh, hmm. What the hell? It's been a minute since I went to this site. What the hell? Did I spell this right? Wait, let me see. Think I. Yeah, I gotta check this out. Wait, hold on. Let me go here. But yeah, I mean, basically, that happens. That's happening to actually somebody. That's happening to a lot of men right now. That's probably happening to that reality is probably millions of men in America. They don't know that basically their child The woman definitely knows, but they have no idea that, okay, here we go. They have no idea that their child is not theirs. And then sometimes the father never finds out. Nah, I took the DNA test off. Maybe I might re-upload them. I think I took those DNA tests off of my website. Um, I mean, DNA tests are fairly cheap. It's like less than $100. All you got to do is basically, you can. I mean, it's ways that you can get the swab or get the saliva from the child. You can, I guess, give them a juice box or something like that. Then as soon as they throw the juice box away, there you go. I don't know. It's probably, it's ways where you can get the DNA swab where it's not that significant, but that's how you would find out. I'm sure there's other ways that you can get the DNA and find out if that's your child or not. You send the lab off, you send the results off to a lab, and then they give you some type of analysis to find out. I think you swab yourself as well, and then they analyze if that's your child or not, if that's your baby or not. But because, again, because simps are so desperate for women, they're so desperate at trying to please women, trying to get a woman, trying to keep a woman. They don't really think about, you know, what is this woman doing? That all of their every day is like trying to please this woman, trying to, baby, please, this woman. And that longing and yearning to try to please this woman has this woman basically a lot of times bored. A lot of times they get a princess type of mentality where they feel like they're royalty, they're spoiled. And sometimes they get bored, and they want a guy that does not want to spoil them, or some guy that they like how they look, they're attractive, they dress well, they're confident, you know they're very, very debonair. They like different types of men. They want somebody different, somebody less boring, somebody less willing to bend over backwards, somebody willing to basically take them from behind and just fuck the shit out of them, like they don't give a fuck about them, because they don't. That type of sexual, that carnal sexual performance is probably not something that they get from their particular significant other. And nature is nature. Nature is going to survive. Nature knows what it wants. A woman knows what they want. They want the strongest specimen that they possibly can get. And a lot of times you thinking being a nice guy, being a pussy beggar is the way to a woman's heart, is the way to the ultimate opportunity to please and get this woman. Now, don't get me wrong, being a pleaser of women, it can work. It's a old game. The best way is, a lot of time then women don't really like this. Like sometimes, that's a strategy. Like you be nice to the woman just in order to get the pussy. And then after you get the pussy, you like, I got you, bitch. And then you kind of flip mode, it's like you flip mode as a squad. and then you know what I'm saying, it's like you start acting different. And then that's why women be like, man, he started acting different. He was all nice, and that's why some women don't want to give, they don't even want to deal with nice guys, because they, you know, you hear women complain after they give some woman, you know, after they give a man some, you know, sex or whatever, or sexual access, the man starts to change. He starts to, you know, at first he's giving a dozen roses, giving the woman chocolates, you know, sweet good mornings and sweet good nights. Then after he get the pussy, you know, he's like barely checking in on her, barely, you know, giving her any attention. And she like, what the hell happened? Who, this is a totally different person, you know. So, you know, that is one way of doing that, you know. But what I'm saying is, as far as simps, what they do is they nice even after they get the pussy. Matter of fact, they might even be nicer. Instead of a dozen roses and chocolate, you know, they going to the jewelry store, they buying, you know, all kind of bracelets, and you know, they spending money, they trick it, you know, basically. And they, that's not even their wife, you know, they're bending over backwards, you know, trying to please this woman that really, you know, doesn't really deserve it. Because, you know, women, you know, sometimes they deserve it, but you gotta really vet a woman to understand if she deserves it or not. And a lot of times when it comes to pussy beggars, they're so blinded by the woman, they don't even vet the woman. They don't even care to vet the woman. They're so happy to get that woman, they don't see anything else. It's like a bum that sees some, you know, good food in the garbage can or something, or on the ground. They don't care that it's on the ground. They don't care if it's in the garbage dump. They're gonna go in the garbage dump and eat that food, get that food out the garbage, or eat that food off the ground because they hungry. You know, it's like that's how a lot of, you know, men that are so desperate to get women, that's how they are. You know, they hop in and out of your live stream and don't really want to listen to you, but they listen to you. But you're, again, you're like the preacher telling the truth, and it hurts them. You know, I've heard a lot of simps. If you thought that, you know, because I don't really, I kind of backed off of, you know, kind of, you know, calling people broke and all of that type of stuff. But actually calling out simps, it actually makes it even worse. Like, you know, I had a lot of people that don't like me because, or like my content on my channel, because I called out a lot of broke people in the past. Well, the simps, calling out simps, make it even worse, because you got a lot of people, you got a lot of men that have money. They're not necessarily broke, but they simps. They're pussy beggars. So it's like, it's even worse. Like, you know, I'm just you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the reverse of what they say you should do with YouTube or any type of content. You want to draw people to get attention, to get subscribers and likes and all this goofy shit. I'm doing the reverse of that. You know, I'm like, I'm the preacher that, you know, is too extreme. You know, I come at men and women. You know what I'm saying? They all can get this smoke. And the pussy beggars, aka the simps, again, you got a lot of simps that they're not, like, again, they're not broke. They absolutely have quite a bit of money. Look at Zion Williams or Zion Williamson or whatever, and a lot of different these young NBA guys. For whatever reason, they get in the NBA, and then you see what they're doing. They getting strippers pregnant. Okay, they're dealing with porn stars. They're getting porn stars. They wifing up porn stars, and basically The thing about a woman, I learned this at an early age. I learned this when I was 19. I was with a fine hood rat. She was like about an 8. She was like Puerto Rican. She had the cocoa brown nipples. I mean, she was fine, okay? But she was a hood rat, and I had to let her go. I was like about 18 or 19. And the thing is that what I learned is two things. Well, actually one thing. A woman that you claim, a woman that you're with, is a reflection of who you are. So if you're with hood rats, guess what that makes you? A fucking hood rat, a loser. If your woman is a easy hood rat whore slut that can get with anybody, that's a reflection on you. You're a cuck. You're a fucking worthless piece of shit. That that's your woman that you reflect to the world. That's your woman. You go out in the world and you step in circles and you intermingle. Your woman is a reflection of you. So if that's what you can get and that's who you claim, and a lot of these guys, maybe they daddy didn't tell them, or they uncle didn't put them on game, or in my case, my roommates, well, basically my peer group, the guys when I was in college that I played basketball with, we hung out, whatever. They said, man, you with that chick, man, that chick, guys will give you the whole facts. If you got some friends that's, they know what's up. They out there in the streets. They gonna tell you if your chick is a hoe or not, because depending on, who knows who. And what happens is sometimes guys just don't give a hell. They don't care. They'll just be like, well, this my hoe, this my slut, and they'll just stay in a relationship with that chick. I don't know. I mean, my situation, like I said, I learned at an early age. I was fortunate enough. I was able to kind of get out there, sow my royal oats or whatever, and I learned, yeah, a woman that you claim, I mean, it's like you gotta be cognitive. That woman is an extension of you. That's your queen. It's been a minute. I ain't, been playing no chess or nothing like that. But I played a couple practice games over the weekend. I'm kind of working and stuff. Like I work a different job, and it's a lot more demanding than normal. Um, so I don't really play a lot of chess, but I've played a lot of games and I know a lot about chess, and I'm into. It's life to me. Chess is life to me. It's not just a game. I really look at this shit. King, queen, rook, knights, pawns, bishops. Your queen is a reflection of who you are. If you are a fucking loser, peasant, bum, your woman, if that's who you can get with, that's your woman. If your woman is, sleeping with the whole town, that's your woman. That's your queen. She is your queen. What to be? That's your queen. That's who you are. That's your significant other. Your better half. I think, yeah, when I was really religious and I was really into Islam and I was you know really into it, they say half of your faith is your woman. So if your woman is an unfaithful slut that's fucking everybody, and you so much of a simp that you still you want to you claiming her, not only you claiming her, like I ain't gonna lie, I'm from Chicago. Okay, I'm from the Chicagoland area. I grew up in the burbs, but really close to Chicago. Most of my family from is from Chicago. I, pretty much went every weekend. Damn near, I was in Chicago. Probably most likely over my grandmother's house. So I was, all in and around Chicago. And Chicago has some of the most notorious pimps in America, in American history, and and even quote unquote some of the best players, whatever you name it, whatever you want to call it. And one of the things that they used to say back when I was coming up was, basically, you don't claim no hoe. You don't a hoe is not to be claimed. She's for anyone. Now they say she's for the streets because she's for anyone outside. Even women, they say, man, I'm outside. They out there getting it, getting it in, right? So it's like, the thing is that a lot of guys probably didn't quote unquote, have anybody to pull their coattail or tell them anything. And probably even I, sometimes, and a lot of times I would even say now, listening to some random dude on YouTube is probably the only person that they probably ever heard. That's their uncle. I mean, that's their daddy that, did never was, really told them anything or may not have been in their life because they didn't know. They didn't get put up on, game or whatever. But yeah, I mean, your woman is a reflection of who you are. And if you're a simp, a pussy begging simp, that you love that woman more than you love yourself and all this goofy shit, this romantic bullshit that you believe in, um, you kind of programmed to be a simp. Like, when I was coming up, it was a lot of simp programming. The R&B, we had some of the best R&B music in the 80s, in the 90s, even the 2000s. You know, it was, kind of programming you to be a low key um simp, basically, in more ways than one. It was a lot of good simp music in the 80s, 90s. You could say damn the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. 2000s is when it started to flip. You know what I'm saying? It started to go into like, I just want to, have sex and get it on and move on to the next or whatever. But the thing is yeah, that music, like it was a song that I still have all of these songs, by the way, too, on a hard drive somewhere. Well, actually it's in my book bag, but it's like I got thousands of songs because I at one time I was like real kind of into DJing. But one of these songs I used to play a lot. I think it was by Basic Black. And it's called Special Kind of Fool. And it would be like he would be saying, let me see if I can remember. He was like, um, basically, you can take my credit cards and go to the mall, buy what you want, or some shit like that. I don't know. I might not be saying it right, is exactly how it was, but basically, it's like take my money, do whatever you want to, because I'm your special kind of fool. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, black men historically have made some of the best simp songs on God's green earth through like the best, I mean, legendary classical songs. Now here's the thing. here's the funny thing though. You ain't necessarily no simp just because I'm not saying that you can't love a woman and all that. It's just the wrong mother like people dudes pick the wrong woman. That's the problem. Like you're not a simp if a woman actually is reciprocating. If you buying chocolates and fucking flowers and she goddamn it is loyal, she's giving you the best that she's got, and y'all go, what I'm saying, get married, and she's actually planting flowers, being a woman, being loyal, giving you basically the world and multiplying it. You can simp on, you can play goddamn it simp music in your car all day, every day, twice on Sunday. You can sing it to her, but the thing is that it's reciprocal. I mean, what I'm saying? The problem with the simp is the reason that the simp is the simp is because he's not getting reciprocated. He's not getting anything in return from his actions is not getting anything in return. He's not getting any reciprocal value from from his actions. It's just one way. He's not getting anything from it. And that's what makes a simp a simp. And the thing is this with, as far as how I look at from what I seen the guy, and actually the guy Yada is quote unquote a a Muslim, you know. Um he seems as though he just see here's the thing, and I was thinking about this from the angle of being a Muslim, and the certain practices or customs, or even quote unquote the sunnah, okay, the what it says in the Quran, basically about how you treat women. You go to the chapter Al Nisa, the woman. Now it would appear that basically Islamic law, you would be quote unquote a simp, but not really. No. What And I thought about it, and I thought about Yada, and I thought about what he says and all of this type of stuff. A Muslim in America that practices Islam would kind of be curtailed into being a simp, and I'll explain why. Because of the one-sided laws that they have in America, where it favors the women, you can't. Because what I'm basically saying is, well, I know Islamic law and stuff like that, right? I know the Quran pretty well. Uh, like being paying 100% of the bills. That's part of the quote unquote Sunnah. That's part of being a Muslim man. Is yes, you do pay all of your woman's bills. You take care of everything. You're a full provider. Her money and everything she has is hers. You have to provide for her. I mean, now it's common sense. It doesn't mean like it's common sense. If you're like, let's say you're in a bad financial bind, of course she has to chip in, because what the fuck, y'all gonna be on the streets because you took care of everything, and then she's got a whole bunch of money, and then she has to use that money to survive. I mean, it's common sense. I mean, you ain't gonna just be out in the street and your wife has a whole bunch of money. That's not how that works. But the thing is that practically, yeah, you pay all of the bills. That's the Sunnah. That's the way you're supposed to, basically be a man in Islam, is you take care of all of the responsibilities. Now, I remember online or whatever, Facebook or somewhere, where women got really, they got, black women primarily, they got real excited when they heard about that. When they heard about, Muslim men are obligated to 100% take care of women, they were extremely happy about that. But, and this is where it comes to kind of being, kind of being difficult to really practice this in America. Well, you already probably, if you're feeble minded and you're not well read and researched, you would think that, oh, that's great. Oh, he just 100% is provided for his woman. He has to do so. Well, it's a catch to that. And if you already researched and you know about Muslims, you know about Islam, you know about all the tenets and everything sugar and spice and everything nice, as well as the stuff that ain't so nice, you already know where I'm going. Well, if the woman has to be on her best behavior, obviously, right? And she can't raise her voice and cuss her man out. If she does so, and this is just like basically just to be kind, that quote unquote man, the husband, he's able to basically give his wife some type of corporal punishment. Okay, is that is it, when they found like all those women that was like, oh man, man, I gotta get me a Muslim man. They supposed to take care of. When they found out that like sour stuff, oh, he can just put me in my place and also give me basically corporal punishment. It's like, no, no, I think I'll pass off of that. And that's the light stuff. Oh, it gets more extreme. You know, Obviously, okay, if you commit what I talked about earlier, committing adultery, having a baby outside of your marriage, or yeah, marriage, obviously, because it's really no girlfriend and boyfriend shit. Really, that's kind of disdained or quote unquote haram, right? It's frowned upon behavior. That's actually zina, right? That's forbidden fornication, uh so it's only marriage, right, within the constructs of sexual intercourse, right? So if you go outside of the marriage and have some type of sexual relation, oh, okay, well, you probably can't see it on YouTube. Maybe you probably got to sign in 18 plus, but you go on Twitter and just type in, all you got to do is type in Islamic adultery, committed adultery, and you'll see what happens. If you're really into, you really like the fact that these men, quote unquote, provide and, protect you and all of that, and pay for everything 100%. I'm just talking about is, Islamically. Like, I mean, this is what I'm talking. I'm not talking about, you know, common person or whatever, average everyday American person. I'm talking about within the construct of, or of Islamic, basically law or whatever, you know, yeah, all you got to do is go on Twitter and type in adultery, committed adultery, or wife commits adultery in Islam, and you'll see what happens. That's all you got to do. I ain't got to tell you. I'll leave you. I'll leave you with some homework to do, cause it ain't. That'll be your last time. I'll just tell you. I'll give you a hint. That'll be your last time committing adultery, because they really don't. Yeah, it's kind of archaic, but they don't really have no time to deal with. Okay, you got a baby by somebody else, and that messes with the whole your, not only your legacy, that basically messes up your entire ancestry. You wasted your life away. Now you got kids that ain't yours. You can't do nothing with those kids. I mean, I guess historically they would probably either be raised or they would be given away to basically a orphanage or something like that. But yeah, the wife, well, she would be basically, yeah, that would be her last time committing that situation. That's considered a great sin, a very very great sin. So the thing is that yeah, you can't do those things that I just said. Those two things, like the kind of lighthearted, you know, kind of put your wife in her place, and she steps out of bounds, give her some type of corporate punishment, or even worse. Yeah, you can't do that in America. It's the whole, people that really don't like Muslims and stuff like that, and they say no Sharia law and all that type of stuff. Because the thing is yeah, you can't do that in this country. You can't put your wife in a place. You can't go, basically give you can't just basically, put your wife, take, basically just, basically you know execute your wife basically because she committed adultery. You can't do that. Or you can't go to no court and be like, hey, my wife committed adultery, and then they, basically do what they do. You can't do that. So it's like an honor system type of thing where the woman knows what she has to do, but she technically, by law, because she's in, this country, she can kind of do whatever she want to. And you have a lot of people that, in that faith that have issues with, divorce. Divorce is lower than quote unquote like non-Muslims, but it's still high because women in this country, no matter even if they're Muslim, because they have the freedom to what they want to, because they can kind of get away with it. Marriage is very challenging for a Muslim man in America, primarily the Muslim man. The woman, because she can do whatever she want to, it's not so much of a challenge. But the man, he can't put his wife in his place technically in America, or in other Western countries. But I say all of that to say that, um, that's kind of a perspective of in case you didn't know, when it comes to a quote unquote a Muslim in America paying all of the bills. Yes, that is Islamic, but you got some men that, they dealing with the same thing that other people dealing with. They dealing with men. Yeah, they probably doing that too for sure. They dealing with women that are undeserving to be in a marriage, and basically taking care of women that don't deserve to be taken care of. It's a lot of that going on too. But um, it kind of goes into simping because you know women need to be told just like anybody else if they're wrong. If you're saying you can't correct women or can't tell them that they're wrong, I know for a fact that that is a form of pussy begging sympatry. Because the thing is that, don't get me wrong, I love women. I enjoy women. I like black women, and I definitely like black pussy. And I can tell you that, I mean, it's good. It's very, very, I mean, it's like, Tony the Tiger. It's great. I mean, I can see how I can understand how dudes could just be like, this is so great that I'm willing to do anything to keep getting this, to keep pleasing these women, I can see it. I can understand it. Like this shit is, it's like dope. You know, it's like crack, or it's like drugs. Like, you know, people shoot some heroin in their veins, and they be like, "Ooh wee," like, it's potent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see how dudes, they get a shot of pussy, and then they just lose their mind. They just like they go into another realm. It's like, I mean, I can I understand. I can, I understand, that logic. I get it. But at the end of the day, you know, again, when you've had a lot of women, and you had different women, it's not, you don't have the sentiments like a person that probably has not been with a lot of women. And definitely, if you just basically the type of person that you might not be desirable, and you might not have never really been able to really get women because you might have been extremely poor, or you've been, destitute or something like that. And then now you have some type of, financial gain, and now you have some opportunity to actually kind of peacock. You got an opportunity now to have a car, you got opportunities to wear the finest things, and you can kind of peacock a lot better now, and attract women, because that does, peacocking does attract women, wearing nice clothes, having jewelry, having cars. Those things do attract women. That's why, men go out of their way to get those things. Now, they attract women, but they don't necessarily keep women. You can't keep women off of material items. That's not how that works. And that's one of the things also that confuses simps. Let's just say rich simps. Rich simps believe that their material wealth can keep women. The material wealth can attract women, but it's not necessarily going to keep women, and it's not going to keep women loyal. Now, some women, they're smart enough to value wealth and riches and stuff like that, or men with means, and they are comfortable with men with means. But it has to be more than that. It has to be, they really are into you. They want to really be with you, outside of your material possessions. It has to be something more than that. And you see that with certain women, they get with men that do have money, but for whatever reason, they're loyal. They're not, going outside, doing whatever they want to with any guy that approaches them. They're still with that particular guy. It's something more beyond money. The money is just a bonus. But with some guys, it's like, yeah, they think that because they have the financial resources now, and they might have not never been able to really get women, that is going to keep and maintain a woman. The only thing that really can keep and maintain a woman is you yourself, your actual self, the things that you were born with, the God's gifts that you were born with, that were basically attached to your body, and you yourself, can keep a woman. You can't keep no woman with no money. It doesn't matter how much money. You learn that with the billionaires. Think within like a couple of years, It was so many billionaires that got divorced. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. It was like, these guys are billionaires, the richest men in the world, and they cannot, their wife divorced them, or their wife asks for a divorce. If that doesn't, if that, you see Will Smith, I mean, that's something else, because that kind of goes into other realms that I don't necessarily want to go into tonight. But the thing is that,
And no Diddy. You understand what I'm saying?
um money is not going to keep a woman. Okay. It is so many examples of that it's absolutely utterly ridiculous. And I'm not saying that diminishes the fact that you should try to gain wealth, or try to get any type of wealth for yourself. You should get, like I said, wealth for yourself and your children, not necessarily no woman. You know, uh, women are gonna. I would say it's a bonus. I look at wealth and resources as a bonus. Like, it's something to add to whoever you are as a person. It's just something that is just like a plus one. So, yeah, if you got money, it's going to enhance who you are. It's going to enhance whatever you have going on, but it's not going to necessarily be the end all be all in order for you to keep women satisfied, happy, loyal, and committed to you. And that's the um fool's gambit that a lot of simps with money fall for every single day, and they find out the hard way. You see the story or the movie Casino. That was actually based off of true stories, actual true life stories of different mafia figures in Nevada, in the East Coast, different crime families and stuff. So, um this, if you ever seen the movie Casino, you kind of know the whole synopsis of it. I mean, this man was, you know, basically a rich mobster running a casino. He couldn't keep a hoe happy. He didn't. I don't know if he knew she was a hoe, but that's it. That's the prime example of what I'm talking about. She, even all of the money in the world, she wanted to go back to who? Her ex pimp. You know what's going on, T Riller? It's cool, man. I mean, it's a lot of money in Chicago, man. Chicago has a lot of wealth and resources, man. It's it's a lot of money. Just gotta get it. You gotta try to get it, but it's there. It's a lot of money in Chicago. Tons of it. Now you gotta stay out of a lot of bullshit though. You gotta stay away from a lot of people, and you gotta stay away a lot of foolishness. And I mean, that's a live stream within itself. I mean, you know, it's a lot of opportunity, but what happens a lot of times is people can't avoid uh it can't avoid mainly people. It can't avoid people place, let's just say people, places, and things, and they get caught up. You kind of have to be business oriented, and basically, you're gonna have enemies. You're gonna have it's always enemies involved, as far as like when you're trying to do anything. So you just kind of have to just, be on offense and defense. But and you could get rich in Chicago, man. You can get rich in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, or whatever, Indiana, period. Like, man, there's plenty of opportunity in America. America has a lot of opportunity, and primarily, what I say is business and real estate. Business and real estate. A lot of different stuff, man. It's like a video. It's like a video I was watching. I think it was like last Friday. It was called the 15 assets that will make you rich. and it's like a lot of stuff was just like, stuff I already knew about, but it's a lot of opportunities like, out there, man, to make money and stuff. I'll say the relationship aspect of it, like trying to, I guess, the social aspect of the Chicagoland area, uh it's kind of tough, man. As far as dating and relationships and stuff, it is women a lot of time. See, the funny thing about the Chicagoland area, one of the things that I noticed over the years, if you see like a good looking woman, and she has a nice personality, she's usually married. She's usually already married because like dudes know, okay, this is a good woman. I gotta go ahead and close in and lock her up because those women are not that's not the norm in Chicago. It's not the norm in a lot of places. So um, it is women, but it's kind of you kind of have. I think you have to like go out. You got to go out and network. You got to network. Like you got to go to events, stuff like that. Now, in order to really do that, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, this is just personal. You have to have your life in order in order to do that. Meaning, you gotta have a nice place to live. You gotta be square and clean and copacetic. Have your car straight. Have be well groomed, well dressed. And then you also have to kind of have your money straight. Like when you got bills due, past due, baby shark to do. Like it's kind of difficult, man, to I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Like when you going out trying to meet people and stuff, and then you know what I'm saying? It's like women can sense your financial vulnerability. Like some women can sense it. Like they can put two and two together, and some women do get turned off by that. They get turned off when you can only have so many sob stories about what you working on and what you trying to do and all that type of stuff. And it kind of sometimes it turns women off, man, because um I mean, one of the things that I have to say, and I do agree with my uncle. He said you shouldn't really disclose things to women, man. You shouldn't be you shouldn't tell them everything. And I had a homie that said the same thing, but I don't know, man. I guess I don't really care, you know, because like I said, I've been with a lot of women, man. And I'm like, well, if they get, basically turned off, that's a good thing because like in the short term, it's a bad thing because you probably, wanted to get with them and everything like that. But in the long run, to avoid divorce and you gotta go see your kids on the weekend and all that shit. If you if you got a woman that's so fickle that she get turned off by you know whatever, really, that woman is not for you. She's not for you. I mean, like I said, I showed the last live stream. That was an actual photo that I took. That woman was sitting on the ground. The landscaper looked like he was Mexican, was working on whatever, planting some bush or something, whatever he was doing, landscaping. She was there listening to him, probably helping him out. That's the type of woman you want, that's gonna be down for you. A woman that's like fickle and picky and all of that type of shit. That's not the woman that's down for you anyway. I'm gonna tell you, man. What I talked about with you. I actually met a chick, man, that was in America. Like I had trips that I wanted to plan. I'm still in the works of planning where I was gonna actually go, to the country. It came to me. Like just on, I was on a dating app or whatever, and I met an Ethiopian chick. She was Ethiopian in the tree. And I mean, I went on a couple dates and shit. She was pretty gorgeous too, man. I ain't gonna lie. She's about close to my age. But, it didn't work out, man. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't be asking. I don't, if the bra stop showing interest, I don't fucking ask like I'm going on a job interview and I'm like, why did I get the job? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even ask jobs like, why didn't I get the job? Like, I obviously know why I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job. So I just, what I'm saying, keep it moving. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? This shit came to me. Cause I was about to, I sure was about to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, but I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do, man. I don't know. But it's still back on schedule. But man, I ain't gonna lie, like I met a baddie, man. I was like, damn. Even my family, they was like, God damn. That shit went all the way to my grandmother. I was like, damn, I was kind of salty about that shit. I ain't gonna lie. You said any trips to Colombia or DR for you? Uh Man, I've been thinking about Colombia, man. Going back to the DR, not anytime soon. I'll say this. I want to kind of learn Spanish a little bit more. I definitely I need man, you kind of need to learn the language. The best way I think is get you a girlfriend that knows Spanish and let her over the course of probably say about 6 months, a year, you're gonna learn the language because she's gonna be communicating with you in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? But that's more or less a lot of times when people do that, they going to go live somewhere or like Colombia or the DR. They actually there and then they get somebody there and they teach them the language. And they get it really good because you're when you're speaking the mother tongue or you speaking a language every single day, day in and day out, and you're speaking to other people, you're gonna get it down packed because that's you're speaking the language. Um, you can get like a language coach and stuff like that. I guess I technically could get that. I'm not that serious about it, but I do. If I did want to go, I definitely would want to learn Spanish a lot better. Now I do have a little bit of Spanish understanding because I learned it in college, so I do know like la mujeres, el chico, el trabaja and all. Donde estoy ustedes. So I know a little bit that I can kind of like pick up the pieces. But if I did go, man, I definitely um I wanna learn Spanish a little bit better. Man, you know, if I had sharing capabilities, man, I'd definitely put myself out there, man. I ain't it was fun while it lasted, man. Um she had met some white dude from the army and she was like, I guess he was stationed in Europe and she was in Europe and he married her and then she went to that's how she got to America. Um I mean, yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That after that, that was like I can't really. It's like I don't really look at other chicks the same. Like I can't. It kind of messed me up with the whole dating thing because it's like, damn, that's what the fuck I want. I know what I want, And it's like that's pretty close to what the fuck I wanted. All these other bras, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, it's like, what the hell? How do I? How do you motherfucking like you really can't like to compete with that, man? It's like a lot of chicks are weeded out, man, from that. So that I guess that was a good thing because it kind of gave me a metric of what I really want because I really want that. But ideally, I want a chick that ain't got no kids and is a lot younger. But I can't be no punk though. I just gotta go. I gotta go to the north side and just hang out, just walk around. I mean, I do too, man. And I just gotta go around where they are. You know what I'm saying? Be a groupie. be be an Ethiopian groupie, man. Just hang out. Just go to the restaurants. You know what I'm saying? Probably shit, it's the same thing. Probably gotta learn. You gotta learn Amharic, you know what I'm saying, learn the language, man. If that's what, like, you know what I'm saying? Cause she gonna know that language, man. She gonna get bored. She gonna get, homesick. She don't want to speak English with you every day. I mean, that's cool, but she speak a whole nother language, man. So you gonna have to learn her mother tongue, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's you know what I'm saying. That's actually that was like what was that? That was in August. Yeah, that messed me up, man. After that, I was like, that shit just that shit fucked me all the way up, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, damn. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I guess it's the simp in me because I still got a simp chip. A lot of dudes, I do believe that definitely you could be reformed. If you're a simp, you could be reformed. But even if you're reformed, you still got a simp chip in you. You still got that chip in you. And it can like, kind of get short circuited from time to time. But the thing is that I ain't gonna lie, man. I was thinking like, man, I'm gonna have to probably, man, pay a mortgage. It's like I'm gonna have to, she was like, she wanted a house and shit that was like really big and like this, kind of like, mm, kind of middle to upper class neighborhood. And I asked her, I was like, damn, what was the mortgage on that? She said she got pre-approved. I ain't gonna give her a professional way, but um, basically, she said the mortgage was like $4,000 a month. I'm like, damn, at the time, that was hard. That was like my income, man, at the time. Uh, that's like my whole gross, man. So I was like, damn. But I was like, man, I'm gonna just be, man, I'm gonna be paying that shit, man. I'm gonna motherfucking be in a big ass house shit. That's what I wanted anyway. So I was like, man, I'm gonna be doing that. I'm about to motherfucking goddamn it, you know what I'm saying? She said she wanted to have another kid, no problem. I was like, man, okay, what's up? What's up? But hey, I guess she found out I was probably broke, man. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. Um, I don't really like some guys, man, that really bothers them. Like, that really fucks with them. But I've already been with an Ethiopian chick. Already. I mean, it was years ago. Probably like more than a decade ago, but I already been with an Ethiopian chick. The chick I was with was half Ethiopian, and I think she was half Ghanaian, or I'm not for sure, but I know she was half Ethiopian though. She had a moon forehead and everything. Um, I think she was half Ghanaian and half Ethiopian. You know what I'm saying? So Um, I yeah, man, I you know what I'm saying? Like I get mesmerized and shit, but I snap out of it because again, I've been with a lot of women, man. I've been with some beautiful women. I've been with women now because it's like, man, I mean, even who you talk to, like even who you did, even who you've been with in the past. Like I've been with women that are doctors, judges, lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, your past, the women that you've been with are hood rats, strippers, um, bottle girls, freaking Uber drivers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't trying to people shit on the class system, but if that's the best you can do, okay, okay, fine, but like again, I stated again, the woman that you get with is a reflection of yourself. Is your better half. If your better half is, you know, whoever that is, that's your better half, good or bad. Whatever she does, good or bad, that's your better half. So you name it, that's the reflection of yourself. But you know, again, I have to point out, I know we had our, share of indifferences, but I gotta call it out how it is. Charles Faulkner, he said black men are the garbage men of the fucking dating world. And that's where that simp shit goes. That you getting with chicks that basically are losers. Like for example, it's no reason. Okay, I gotta call these guys out, man. You know, I didn't really watch the NBA season just started. Um, it I think it's like day two. Uh, look at these guys that got with like strippers and porn stars. You know, I mean, okay, this the best you can do. Like, I mean, like you're an NBA guy or an NBA player. NBA to make it to the NBA is like the odds is like very, very like it's like almost like winning the lottery. It's very difficult to make it to the NBA. It's almost like a hand-picked, selected, like it's very difficult and rare that you're gonna make it to the NBA. We all know good basketball players that probably are legends, local legends that did not make it to the NBA or came close and they didn't make it. And you made it to the NBA, you're a star, you high draft pick. And the best you could do as far as a mate to get pregnant, to have your baby, to be your baby mama, to be your uh girlfriend is a stripper OnlyFans chick. You done you done went to the most prestigious college. You got a full ride scholarship with you know basically compensation from the college as well for being a college athlete. uh you're destined probably to most likely be a top NBA draft pick, and the college that you went to is pretty much kind of is going to help orchestrate that. You get drafted, come from this prestigious university, and then you go get a stripper pregnant. That's the best you could do. Not a rich stripper, not a stripper that I mean, I guess there is some, maybe some Ivy League strippers that's stripping for cash to pay for college. You don't get that. No, you get a dumb, ratchet Instagram thought stripper pregnant. You so happy dicked, so much of a pussy beggar that you that's the best you could do. And it's just, I don't know, man. I look at the NBA players from the 90s and the 80s. I mean, I'm sure it was some guys that probably did that. You got your Dennis Rodmans, but Dennis Rodman just didn't. He was with a whole bunch of chicks. He was with, elite entertainers and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't like he was just, with just average run of the mill chicks. Like he was with some, high level A-list celebrities. And it's like, man, I mean, even Rodman, you know, was getting better chicks like that. And it's like, man, I look at the today's NBA dudes, and I'm not certainly saying all of them, versus the NBA players in the 80s and 90s, who they picked versus, these young guys that's, picking these chicks and stuff, you know, in the NBA now. And I see a drastic difference. Like I just, what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see. It's just no comparisons. Like these dudes is picking some absolute losers, to impregnate and to be with. Like it just is it's tripped out, man. It's like it just like you could just see the difference of the NBA players who they dated and made it and courted and married or whatever, or even had children with, versus the dudes that's in the NBA now. Like it's like they got no game. It's like they're like just these like weak pussy begging, pussy hungry simps that just get with just random Instagram chicks and porn stars. And like I say, it's not all of them, but it's quite a few of them, man. It's kind of, I'm not gonna say it's sad, but it just makes me think like, how did these dudes like live in high school? Like, I think they probably didn't have no exposure in high school and in college. Like they really wasn't like a lot of, like, even the guys that I graduated, like around the time I graduated, like Quentin Richardson, uh, Corey Maggette, who else? Kevin Garnett. Like all these guys, man, like was, in high school around the time I was in high school, graduated before me or same time or after. These dudes was like, they was running through women in high school. Like I remember, I'll never forget, some dude told me when Corey Maggette was in high school, it was chicks lined up outside his, like, dorm or whatever. Like they was like playing somewhere. I think maybe he was in college or something. Man, it was women lined up, like trying to, like, go see him, like to have sex with him. Like he was like just almost like running a he was running a train, but it was like the women was running the train on him, like a reverse train where it was like a bunch of women lined up to have sex with him. Like that was, you know, kind of, some type of, thing, or the way some of these guys had it. Like they was like, I mean, absolutely running through women. And that was before they even got in the NBA. By the time they got in the NBA, they was already running through chicks. It became the norm. It was no big deal at all. Like, and I don't know, like it just seemed like, I don't know where the cutoff is, but these guys now, these young guys, I don't know why they picking these women, because it just seems like they not. It's like they never had no pussy a day in their life or something. It just seems weird to me. But I wish them the best of luck. That's not my problem. But yeah, man, it's crazy. But I guess it's the world we live in, man. These guys just don't have no real world experience. Like they getting real world experience late in life or something. I don't know. Um, I'm not saying that no NBA players didn't get with no strippers or nothing. We all know what happened. I forgot dude name that he got with the chick that was a porn star, and then she filed divorce or whatever. I forgot dude name, but he basically um he basically got with a chick that was basically out there. They were married for a long time, and then he got older, he retired, and then basically, I think he fell on hard times, and she started basically, she went back to what she was doing before she met him, and started selling ass and starting to strip, doing OnlyFans. Like basically, she started an OnlyFans again account, and he wasn't happy about it. And then she just went full steam ahead all the way out there in the streets again. So it was some NBA players that did that. I'm not gonna say they not all of them, but it's certainly more now. I notice that do that now. No, I didn't. I ain't go to high school with Corey Maggette. Corey Maggette went to a high school in the Chicagoland area. Um, Around the time I was in high school, we graduated the same year. So he was like the top. It was a lot of top prospects in Chicago that year. Corey Maggette, Quentin Richardson. Uh, man, I don't even remember. It was like some dude that went to Simeon. Oh man, it was a lot of NBA prospects, college prospects in Chicago that graduated in 1998. So I heard it was somebody that knew him, and they knew what happened and knew, what I'm saying, that story or whatever with all the women. But I'm just saying, like, that was the norm. If you played basketball and you were uh even if you weren't like a top prospect, if you played basketball was like, this was still the Jordan era, the 90s. If you played basketball in high school, you was like the man in high school. Like all the young girls in high school wanted to get with you. Like if it was an honor if they can get with you. Like, you was damn near like a celebrity, especially in the Chicagoland area. If you played basketball, you were on a high school basketball team, how competitive it was. If you was on the basketball team and you were good too, you were like, you lettered, and you was in the papers, and what I'm saying, if you was an all-American, meaning, they knew you was gonna probably go play in college, possibly in the NBA. Man, shoot, them women would get in line to try to get with you in high school. And it didn't stop if you got into college. Even, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I don't know how it is now, but even when I went to high school, man, I mean, it was not difficult, man, to get laid. Like, that was when by the time I got 16, it was not that. It was probably easier to get laid then than it is now. Like, you in high school, you got your youth, if you were taller or whatever. But by the time you got into college, oh my God. Oh my God. College ain't, I mean, really, Man, college, man. Man, oh my God. College is just unbelievable, man. It is, I mean, I can't even talk about college without possibly having to turn this whole live stream into 18 plus, man. College is crazy. I had more experiences in college than I had when I was in the military, when I was in the Navy. I mean, it was no comparison at all. I mean, like none, especially in a college town. Oh my God, no comparison. I mean, and then the actual like, oh man, no comparison whatsoever. But yeah, I mean the thing is like some guys I don't know. Like I guess, you know, they don't get no they don't really know how to, maybe they don't, socially awkward, they don't know how to talk to women, and you know they kind of have a fear of rejection or whatever. They can't get over that. They don't really like to hang out, or don't know, they don't have nobody to hang out with. I mean, it's a lot of factors. I mean, some people are like, I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff, man. You have to watch Alan Roger Curry videos or something, man. But like, I mean, you kind of have to learn, really, like high school. You supposed to kind of get that stuff out the way in high school. You supposed, by the time you in high school or leave high school, you should know how to talk to women. You should probably already had a girlfriend or two. Should probably at least had, you know, probably like one or two experiences, sexual experiences in high school. Now, when I was in high school, guys already had sexual experiences when they were seventh and eighth grade. Okay, so by the time they was in ninth grade, they was, you know, some dudes already had kids. I mean, it was crazy. Like, you know, I was coming up during the teenage pregnancy revolution. You know, it was like a big, you know, teenage pregnancy got like really big. Like a lot of women were getting pregnant, you know. They were going to high school and they walking around with stomachs. You know, it's like it was crazy, man. It just became the norm that teenage pregnancy got more acceptable. Like it was not a thing where the kid, you know, they used to. It was a whole. You know, it was a same. It was kind of like a. I want to say almost like an urban legend. They say like back in the '60s or even '70s, if a teenage girl got pregnant, she went down south or she went somewhere else to hide the pregnancy or have the baby or whatever. And it's like, yeah, by the time the late '80s, I'll definitely say the '90s, the early '90s, mid '90s, it wasn't nobody going down south. They was coming to high school with the baby. They were pregnant in high school, and then they would go have a baby, and then their mama would take care of the baby, or the baby would be in preschool. Matter of fact, in my high school, we had a preschool class in my high school, like because you know some of the because you know high school is supposed to, if you wanted to get into early childhood, that would be something you could do while you was in high school. And they had a preschool or daycare in high school. And yeah, some of them kids that was in that daycare probably were students babies. You know, it was, you know, somewhat kind of weird to me. I would definitely be like, wow, you know, but it became more normal. Like, I mean, I guess acceptable. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that yeah, by the time you get out of high school, you should already know how to talked to women, you've already had some experiences. By the time you in college, technically supposed to meet the woman that you're supposed to like marry. You're supposed to have like a serious relationship in college. But I mean, you know, college is like, man, I mean, you just kind of take off, man. You know, I mean, that's just, that's like an American tradition, to be honest. I mean, it's not, other people in parts of the world would frown upon that, those behaviors and activities, but yeah, that's part of American tradition to go to college and party, drink beer, underage, and enjoy as much sex as you possibly can, as safely as you possibly can. I mean, keyword safe, rubbers, you know what I'm saying? Like, that type of thing. But, the thing is, man, I just, I say all of this to say, basically, these experiences, it molds who you are. It molds your ability to deal with women and not be so mesmerized by them. You know, go through your heart, go through your breakup. Men go through breakups too. They don't talk about that, how, women break up and they get sad and they get, you know, teary eyed and, they go through those phases where they get their heart broken. But men do the same thing. Men go through the same phases too. I went through, all of I went through heartbreaks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, men do that, have that same result or experience too. So you get that all out when you're younger. When you get older, you understand, okay, well, everything ain't gonna work out all the time. You just gotta move on, dust yourself off. But yeah, some guys, they don't have that. They have delayed uh results, I would say. And those delayed results, you got some guys that never did go away to college. I mean, the people that I went to high school with, they ain't all go away to college. Some of them went right to work. Some of them went to local colleges, like, junior colleges and stuff like that. They didn't leave to go nowhere, to no college town. Like, that's not something, like, I don't know the percentage of people that actually go away to college, but it's not like everybody goes away to college and has that experience. I definitely would say, if I did not go away to college, I probably would have this similar experiences that most people have, where you dealing with local chicks, droughts, problems and issues, because whatever reason, like, you might just be a small fish in a big pond. Well, if you are a small fish and you go to a small pond, you might be the biggest fish in there. I don't know. I mean, what I'm saying? It's a different experience. Like, if you go, like, I'll just say it like this. I've said this before. When I went away to college, I went to Champaign, Urbana, Illinois. Okay, I'm from the, I'm in the Chicago suburbs and, outside of Chicago. Basically, it's mostly black. Okay, probably the area at that time, late 90s, probably like 70% African American. Okay, okay, I go from that place or whatever. I go down, one of my homies I went to high school with, he kind of gave me a tour, free tour for the weekend. And I saw it and I knew this is where I had to go. And I definitely wanted to get away from my parents. And I was like, all right, immediately like planned on going to move down there. But what I noticed was the population was only 10% African American. Okay, it's a big difference. I'm landed somewhere here. So you go somewhere where it's like 70% African American, you think, oh damn, you should just be flowing through them, right? Because it's more African American women, right? No. When you go, okay, go down somewhere, small town, and then also you have the element of the young people that ain't never been away from school or away from their parents, ain't never been on their own, you know what I'm saying? And you're away from wherever you're from, and you're somewhere where there's not that many African American men, not that much competition, it's not that many black people, period. So where it's kind of like economics, like supply and demand. So it was like a situation where there wasn't that much supply. It wasn't that much black men there to, it wasn't that many black women there. Or let's just say, actually, it was more black women than it were, because that was who I was primarily dating. That's the significance of that. But it's like it was more black women than it was black men. So I was in higher demand down there versus being all the way in Chicago where it's just chocolate city. And it's just kind of like when you got when women got so many options, they can kind of be picky, is what I'm saying, basically, in like kindergarten terms, versus when it's a situation where there's not too many. And this is why Atlanta is how Atlanta is. It's not that many. It's way more women than there are men. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like if you in a scenario like that where it's way more women than there are men, it's more into your favor. And that's how it was. Like, that's, it took me a while to figure that out because I couldn't understand it. I'm like, okay, I go drive 150 miles and I'm like just damn near like the Princess Zamunda. Then I come back to my own home city and I can barely, get a hood rat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like I go 150 miles. I got future judges and doctors, lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying, getting some of the brightest and best women that Illinois has to offer, or whatever America has to offer. Gymnasts. Okay, I mean, I mean, like it's crazy. So I mean, like your head gets blown up in that experience, and you like, okay, okay, you've got these women before. You like, damn, okay, and it's like, yeah, man, a lot of dudes just didn't go away to college. They didn't have that experience. Their experience was, I Keisha that, basically went to high school that, you knew in high school. That's it. Like that's your best experience, your best opportunity. You don't know about uh Patricia that's from Maryland that got a scholarship to University of Illinois, and you know what I'm saying, got some big titties and dark skin. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not having that experience because you're in your little small town that you grew up in, that you went to high school in, and you live with your mama, and you're working at Jiffy Lube, as a oil technician, and you're around the people that you went to high school with, and that's who you pick. Or you might pick somebody that went to your rival high school. It's somebody that you know, in your high school district or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a totally different experience, man. It's just like it's kind of like traveling a little bit. Like you have better experiences because you're traveling somewhere else. Like, you know, a lot of dudes, I just thought about that. Like, not a lot of people went away to school. Like that was actually a rare thing. Like, and you really needed your parents really needed money to be able to do that. I wouldn't have been able to do that without my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't have done that by myself. Like I would have been hard pressed. Now I'm not gonna say you couldn't do that or somebody couldn't do that, but it would have been very, very difficult without the financial backing of my parents. You know what I'm saying? So it was some people parents, they were on food stamps. They couldn't afford to send their kids away to college unless you had like some scholarship or something like that. You could forget about it. You weren't going to no going away to no college. Like I remember I wanted to go to Morehouse. Morehouse was like at that time, uh late 90s, about $38,000 a year or something like that. And that was expensive back then. It's probably more now. I couldn't afford that. I knew I couldn't afford that. You know, so I just didn't even do it. You know, I mean, now I could have got student loans, blah 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 blah, but I didn't do it. You know, because it was like it was not affordable. You know what I'm saying? So now I didn't go to University of Illinois. You know what I'm saying? I went to a small junior college right in the area. I was in the area of the University of Illinois. So it was like I got the same experience, but I went to junior college for like, you know, a 1/8 of the price or something. Say, do you ever meet the guys from Hoop Dreams? Nah, I never met them guys, man. They on the west side of Chicago. I grew up on the south side. I got family on the west side, but um yeah, it's like, yeah, it's the west side and the south side is like two different worlds, man. I actually, because of the job I do and stuff now, I have to go all over Chicago. I work in Chicago. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to get off here real soon because I gotta go to work. But uh I was actually on the west side like a couple days ago. West side is just wilder, I would say. It's called the Wild Wild West. Um I uploaded a video on, it's you gotta log in. I had put it at 18 plus because I wasn't sure how YouTube was going to, deal with it, but it was a hooker in broad daylight, west side of Chicago, with all the little ass cheeks out, with just a little thong, just out on the corner. You don't normally see no shit like that on the south side. I mean, you might, depending on, it depends on where you got to go. Now, I don't know Chicago that well. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that grew up in Chicago, they know Chicago better than I do. Like my supervisor, he grew up in Chicago. He knows Chicago way more than I do. You know what I'm saying? All the city streets and all that shit. I don't know all that shit. I know some, but yeah, I do know South Side is not like the West Side. West Side is like a lot more ghetto, a lot more ratchet, a lot more grimy. Now, it is grimy on the South Side and ratchet too. So I'm not gonna say it's like people on the South Side is like, some fucking like Prince of Bel Air or some shit. Nah, I'm not saying that. It just whatever ratchet or ghetto you want to make it on the South Side, just you gonna turn the dial up when you go on the West Side. Like I was driving down the street, man. I haven't seen an open air dice game in years. Well, I saw that shit. I saw that shit on the west side a couple days ago. That was actually what it was that Tuesday. No, that was no, that when was that? That was Monday. Yeah, Monday. Yeah, I ain't seen an open air dice game in years. You know, they was shooting dice broad daylight on the corner, just not on the corner, but down the street, just shooting dice. Wild West Side is wild, man. West Side is like when they was talking about bringing the National Guard in, they probably had to go to the West Side first. You know, I'm just joking to just make it, comical, but I ain't even joking. The West Side, man, they might not need to. They might the National Guard might not be enough for the West Side of Chicago. They probably don't have to bring the army in for the West Side. I mean, it's just the West Side is just I don't know why, but it's just more entrenched and they like more organized as far as like like crime. Like South Side really like they be shooting and killing each other and they got all these different gangs and stuff, the BDs, the GDs, the Blackstones and the Four Corner Hustlers and the Vice Lords. They all be shooting each other wholesale on the South Side. They just can't get it together. But for whatever reason on the West Side, they it gangs really don't matter like that on the West Side. They can all it could be it's more of a business like what I'm saying is like when they sell drugs because they sell a lot of drugs on the West Side. They got some of the best heroin that comes from Mexico and South America that goes right to the West Side. Like those guys are way more organized and they make way more money because they're organized and they don't it don't matter what gang you in. You work for this package and these guys that sell it. It's kind of like the Wire. They that's how it is on the West Side. And that's where a lot of junkies go to get heroin because it's like a open air drug market. They have open air drug markets on the west side of Chicago. And it's like they make a lot of money selling dope. And the police don't stop them. The police like this is where I never did make a video about organized chaos or whatever because I have a theory about organized chaos where chaos is basically organized, in my opinion, because they just kind of allow these people to sell dope and sell drugs and make money. And the police doesn't stop them. They'll drive right past. I've seen it with my own eyes. They'll drive all the way past an open air drug market. Everybody, like you could just imagine Grand Theft Auto. You could be out there selling open air drug markets. The feds probably just take pictures and then they just try to arrest them later, build a case and build a RICO case on them. But they let them just sell drugs every day like it's they got drive-throughs where you just drive right through and get your heroin. And they got hookers on the west side, a lot of hookers and stuff. It's wild, man. But yeah, man, I said quite a bit, man. I gotta get up off of here, man. Um, yeah, man. All I can say, man, I always try to leave people with solutions, man. You gotta you gotta come to terms, man. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror, being a simp. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror and understand that yeah, you're a simp. And I mean, this is if you want to change. And try to get it together, try to understand, how you got to this place where you became a simp, a pussy beggar, and just try to, figure it out.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.